Okay, we should be recording. Hello, everybody. It's Daphne here from Lore Entertainment. We sitting down with Mr. Mark Dong for our Let's Get Pumped segment. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Glad to have you. So, what you been into, Mark?
What have I been into? Well, let's see. Um, you mean just for today or just overall?
Overall?
So overall, just a little things, some of the things that I've been doing lately. I run my own business. I own Dragon's Den Self Defense Academy here in Katy, Texas, and I teach Krav Maga, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, cardio kickboxing. I also teach firearms training. I do firearms training. Um, I do CHL classes or license to carry classes, as it's called down here in Texas. I also do basic pistol safety. I'm a range safety officer. Let's see. I'm serving in the Texas State Guard. Let's see. I'm a stunt actor. As a matter of fact, once I get off of this, I have an audition for HEB. I believe it's an HEB commercial that I'm auditioning for. Um, so yeah, just small things.
Have you been keeping yourself busy since the beginning of the strikes?
Yes, I am with an agent, so my agency is called the Boyson Agency, and they've been finding us a lot of more commercial work because of the strike. So that's been keeping us busy. A couple weeks ago, I had 4 auditions, so still waiting to hear back from those. Some of them are for independent films, so that doesn't involve the Screen Actors Guild and stuff like that. So and I just got before I got on, someone just text messaged me about doing some fight choreography, more specifically like sword fighting choreography. So we'll see what that's all about and go from there.
So, what's your favorite thing to do out of all of it? Is it the stunt coordinating, the actual stunts, the martial arts? I mean, we know you love martial arts because obviously you own a studio, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about like in the film world.
So in the film world, I did get into it through stunt as a stunt actor, and it was because this gentleman reached out to me on Facebook because I taught Krav Maga, and the film that he was working on wanted somebody with Krav Maga skills in it. So he reached out to me, and then I didn't hear from him till like maybe a year later, and then we started doing something together. And then he liked how I was training people, so he wanted me to be like the head stunt trainer for his group here in Houston. So started doing that, and then I got into my first independent film, short film, and that's where it started. And now that I'm in my 50s now, so I don't think being thrown over a car or falling down or rolling downstairs um, fits my description anymore. Um, so
I know I know quite a few over 50 and they're badass. I mean, badass. I'm no young person myself, but I don't know if I'd want to go down them damn stairs because that's actually happened to me before by accident, not on purpose for a movie, but I fell down concrete stairs and that was not fun at all, especially when you're flipping.
Yeah,
Um,
there was a scene where we had it was like in some stairwell, and it was concrete, and I had to fall down the stairs. That was not fun.
it's really, really, really not fun at all.
Yeah, so that's why I do more of the stunt coordinating, the fight choreography, more fight choreography than actual stunt coordinating, because stunt coordinating also involves like the wires, the ratchet pulls and stuff like that. Controlling the high falls, burns, fire burns and stuff. I just don't have all that equipment. Although I've been to a couple stunt camps to where they trained us on that stuff, but I don't have that stuff here, so I would consider myself more of a fight choreographer than actual stunt coordinator. Although a lot of movie makers, filmmakers, they put in the credits as stunt coordinator. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Yeah, there's only so many they give us to choose from.
right? Pick one.
So what did you think about, I mean, you said it was a year from the time that you had spoke with the other person to being put in that movie. For you people out there who are not in our industry, years are just like weeks to normal jobs.
Yes,
It's a year to your guys' week. That's
facts.
There's a lot of people that don't understand that. They're like, "Oh, it's taken this long to make a movie or a couple years for this." Well, what the hell, man? Do you think we just write the shit down and go film it? Because
Right.
that's no, it's a long, drawn out process before we even get to film it, you know?
Yep. I mean, right now I'm involved with uh, an anime series, and she's been working on this for a few years already.
Yeah.
And I'm the stunt coordinator because she's going to have me do all the martial arts in it. But we haven't even done any martial arts movements yet for the choreography for the animation. We haven't even gotten to that part. She's got all the scripts written out and everything, and she's still making edits and everything. But yeah, that it's still in what's it called, pre-production. Um, the movie that we wrapped in December, Where the Stars Are, that's my first supporting speaking role, and I play a typical, Asian immigrant dad. And that should be, I think, they released the trailer, and that should be coming out. I think he said November.
Mhm.
That's a year later,
Yeah.
you know. So when you said 1 year is like regular weeks, so 1 year to release the film. I mean, it's just the editing that takes forever, and this is without any fight scenes.
Oh, I edit. I know.
There's
I know. I mean, I did catch a little bit of country twang though in your voice. I caught
You
it.
caught it?
I caught
Sorry.
it. No, there's so much, especially the animation. I mean, I'm actually in the process of working on that. It comes to where, when you're doing what I do, because producing, you've got all these, different movies, but you can't do them all at one time. That's what people don't get. And there's also an animation that we're talking about that I'm wanting to do, which is later on, but I'm not going to say anything about that right now. That one's more low key. I don't actually even think I have that up on IMDb. I think I took some of that down. Um, but I mean, this is a long drawn out process. In post production, that can run sometimes, God, for years on its own,
Yep,
you know.
yep.
And editing is not fun. I
Nope.
It's not. And I learned on my own how to edit. And I mean, I didn't, I had no choice. I was like, it's either I'm gonna have to sit down and learn, same thing I did, with everything else I've learned how to do. I had to sit down and actually learn it my damn self because, you know, it's expensive to take those classes, and when you edit it, there's so much you're doing because you've got to do transitions, you've got to do, your intros, you got to do the outs, then you've got to do,
Yep.
the colors and anything, or how you're going to do speed. It's a big pain in the ass. I love all you editors. I don't want your damn job. Keep it. Keep that shit. Keep it. I'm good.
Yeah, I'll just stick with the fight choreography.
Right. Yeah, I'll just set it all up and we just knock it all down, but I don't want that job. We're good. It's a pain, and something I've noticed also, because doing these videos are a little bit more different than actually doing the movies. When we shot the teaser trailer for Shattered Dreams, um, because I had to play director basically for the second unit. I was second unit director on that because the directors they're tied up right now, so I couldn't get them up here to do this. And then when they were sending me the waves and all the files and everything else, and then what you don't realize is when you're trying to edit that, you're trying to actually match the sound to the voice, because in the regular picture, you're not hearing anything but black noise. You know what
Right.
I mean? And it's those, what do you call, I'm trying to think of how the hell it goes, where it's like the beep, 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 beep. And then you've got like the little black screen. I call it black noise, you know, because the
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
other sound waves, I call them white noise. That way there I can, because you got to mix the shit. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
complicated. I hate it. I hate it. Oh my God. I can't stand that. And if you're even off by like a second, it
It
turns
throws
into
everything off.
a Bruce Lee film because you've got them talking, but then the sound's not gonna catch up for another, 10, 15 seconds before or
That's
after.
where you get all the, the Michael Winslow's like, "Fight
Right?
me!" The bad dubbing, I guess, is called.
Oh my god. Yes, it's horrible. So, since you're kinda new to to the acting part, right?
As far as acting, yes, because like I said, Where the Stars Are, that was my first supporting.
Mhm.
I've done some, actually, another action film just wrapped. He just wrapped it up a few days ago. It's called Death Merchant, and it's an independent film, but it's a full feature film,
Yeah.
and I do have a speaking part in it, but I'm speaking in Chinese. So that's another cool little tidbit, that's coming out soon. And he just wrapped, so now probably be another few months before he gets all the editing right and everything. So, but we've been doing that project for about maybe 3 years. We have Christine Wynn, who came out from LA to do it. She's been in TV shows like CSI and
Mhm.
a couple other like regular CSI, and I think CSI Miami too. I'm not sure. One of those. But it was really cool to have her on set and everything. Got to work with her a little bit, so pretty cool.
Yeah. How long have you owned or well, how long have you owned your studio? Your studio?
Since 2011. So 2011, my school was called CrawFit Now, and then 17 started, and then Hurricane Harvey came, and just wiped pretty much all my students out because my school was like a mile away from where it all flooded. Um, and then we recouped a little bit. Then COVID hit, wiped me out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a rebrand because I want to get rid of the bad juju that's been associated, Harvey, COVID. Let me rebrand. And then now I have the two dragons.
Walk around the stage at all times.
And I was like, good Lord. It's like, just let me just rebrand and just do something different. And plus, I was in the, I was further, I was closer into town. Right now, I'm out in Katy, which is 30 miles west of Houston.
Yeah.
So I was like maybe 10 miles west of Houston or at my previous school. So now I moved closer to where I live. So, you know, now we're doing this.
Yeah, I love the waters like down there because like I told you, my son's in Fort Hood. My mom actually lives in Pensacola, but the beaches down there, I mean, they're treacherous when it comes to hurricane season, but they are so damn pretty. I mean, that water down there is just so pretty, especially down in Florida, the whole Gulf of Mexico. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Not in Galveston.
Really, you don't think so?
Galveston, nah.
He sent me some video. I've never been there, but, like, I go to Pensacola a lot. Um, so down there when he took those videos, he'd send them to me. I thought it was actually pretty.
Well, that's probably like that's closer to Florida, but right here in Galveston, the beaches are nasty. They're not
Really?
that pretty. Yeah, they're not.
You're like, "Don't come, stay."
Yeah, the water's all brown. I think there was a couple times where I think even on the news they said, "Oh, there's a spot where the water's actually blue or like an aquamarine or something like that." And we're like, "No way."
We're gonna see 1,000 of you out there with your iPhones.
For real. And that's what happened. Several people went out there with their iPhones to take video or whatever of the water in Galveston that's actually like a bluish tint.
Oh my gosh. So out of everything that you teach, what do you think for somebody who would be coming into martial arts, what do you think would be the hardest for that person to learn?
For them to learn the hardest? Well, it just depends on how well how they learn. You know, some are auditory, some are visual, some are proprioceptive. You know, it just depends. And that's my job to figure out how you learn because I can teach Krav Maga, I can teach Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I've had people come to my school for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu who felt like I broke everything down better than other schools, than
Yeah.
other instructors. And I've also had some come and tell me, well, I don't really quite understand what you're doing, so then I have to put them into position the proprioceptive way, and then now it's starting to make sense to them. And then I have a couple people who learn by watching me, and it's like they watch me a couple times, boom, they got it. you know I wish I was like that, but you know and then some are, they have to write things down and stuff like that. I wrote stuff down when I was taking Krav Maga training with my instructor from Israel. I would write stuff down, or during our water breaks, we would write stuff down, take notes and stuff like that. This way it sinks in a little bit. So for me, I learn more audio through auditory and visual. Every now and then you have to put my hand into place, move it this way, this way, this way, or what have you, you know. But most of it is more visual and auditory.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I mean, I think me, because I like to joke around a lot. So if I ever wanted to figure out how, if I was teaching that, how somebody would learn the first day they come in, I think I would put one, a book down with a brick on it, two, an actual brick. you know, and if they were, the readers, we'd let them read the book. If they were, the hands-on person, maybe put an actual, the brick, let them pick it, just hit them with the damn brick. Be like, hey, we're gonna figure this out. How do
Yep.
you learn? You might want to write that down on your little notepad so we know how you learn, so you don't be one of the people who actually get hit with the brick.
Yep.
But I just like to joke around. That's just me. I'd be that person. But I mean, as far as what's the youngest students that you've had in your class?
The youngest I've ever had was 4.
Wow.
But now, like my kids classes that I teach now, I start at 8 and up.
You feel like they learn better when they get older?
No, it's just more of the growth plates. When they're at a younger age, we have to worry about growth plates. I don't want to mess up their growth plates because if we're sitting here kicking, however many times, in a session or whatever, I don't want one of their legs to be longer than the other because now I'm messing up their growth plates, or their arms or something like that. We're punching. If I ask, okay, are they right-handed, left-handed? So now they're doing right-handed stuff, and they do the right-handed side more than the left. Well, now you're going to have one shoulder dipper, this action. So it's the growth plates for me that I'm worried about.
Mhm.
So a lot of times I like to start at 8, um, because most of the growth plates have kind of settled down, but they're still moving. But at least now with the motor development at that age, now they can uh, accommodate for it. Whereas
Yeah.
at a younger age, they're still figuring out what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that's also that applies to what you're doing, but my own opinion, and it's like that with acting. I feel like because I have kids, everybody knows that. Would I put them in younger now that I know what I know, and what I do? And no, just because I don't, this is my personal opinion. I know there are a lot of people out there are probably saying, like, damn, bitch, I was going to put my kid in acting. But, I'm just being honest. Kids are more let down in this field that we do, the industry that we do, just because. they're kids. Their feelings get hurt, it crushes them.
Yep.
And I feel like, I mean, every one of my kids have had the chance to come and be in anything that I'm doing. I don't mind, but do they want to? Hell no. And even my youngest, she refuses to be on camera because I mean, she'll be 16, but she's not that person. And I'm glad because I feel like, and I've worked with, kids in different things that I've done, but I really feel like this industry is a lot better when you're older. When even if it's like 8, well, I can't even say 18 because anymore a lot of 18-year-olds have the mentality of 13 and 14-year-olds. So, I would probably say at least 21. I'm kind of glad I've had the opportunity presented to me a couple times when I was younger, and I'm glad that I never took it because if I had to go back and do that then, what I'm doing now, then I don't think it would have worked out, versus being older, you're more able
Right.
to learn and handle it. And like the rejection portion of it, they don't get it, they think, oh God, they hate me. And it could just be something as small as your hair color, just anything so small like that. And with kids, once they get the rejection portion of it, they don't want to do it. It changes them. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like, I mean, it's like in sports, you know how in PE, okay, choose your 5 people. Okay, I want this one. I want this one. And, you know, if you're a kid and you're the last one to get picked, it's like, well, I guess you had no choice. You didn't want me. So now I'm kind of like forced to be on your team. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't want to be here because y'all didn't really want me.
You know how they could solve that in school? Honestly, they could have everybody at the start of the class put their name in a friggin' hat and then pick
And
the
draw.
team leaders and each one of them draw until they're gone and that person gets that person, period. It does not matter if they cannot play at all. It does not matter. At least though, I'm not saying give everybody a trophy because that's the one thing in the schools I don't believe in is everybody getting the participation trophy because then they're not learning. They are handed a trophy they did not earn. And that's the one part of it I don't believe in. But to make it fair as far as picking people to prevent that, that's the smart thing to do. Put the names in the hat, let them draw till it's gone. And the winners, they get the trophy. The other people, see you next
Better
year.
luck next time.
They learn that, and that's what makes me mad sometimes about the schools because these kids are they're gonna grow up thinking, oh yeah, well I've got this, I got that. No, you were handed that, you didn't earn it. Versus the people who actually worked their ass off and actually did earn it. It's not right. You know,
Yep.
I mean, I get it. They do it to make it all fair, but then when that person gets older, then they're thinking
Where's
this
my trophy?
exactly. That
Hey
they're
boss, where's my trophy for being in the meeting? I didn't
right.
want to be in this meeting. Where's my participation trophy?
Right. And it's not like that in the real world, and they need to teach that shit now. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like that in the real world. When you get 18, I'm sorry, game over. You've got taxes, you've got this, you've got all this other shit. Hello, welcome to the real world. Because now
Yep.
my grown kids now are like, "Damn, adulting sucks." You think? But you were in a hurry to be 18, right? You know?
Yeah, my both of my boys just moved out. I moved my youngest son to Dallas because he graduated in May from UTSA, and he got a job with Paycom up in Grapevine, I believe.
Mhm.
So now he's living on his own. So now he's got to pay bills, feed himself.
Mhm.
No one's here to cook for him or anything, so he's got to figure things out. Same thing with my oldest son, although my oldest son is just maybe 2, 3 miles away. And every other day or every couple of days, he comes home, especially when my wife is home, when she's off. He'll come home for dinner and eat dinner with us.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, he's on his own too. He's got to pay rent, he's got to pay bills and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
you don't get no participation trophies for that.
So what do they say when they come home? Like, damn, sometimes I wish I was still young.
He hasn't said that yet. So, yeah, the oldest one hasn't said that yet. I think the youngest one, when he comes home, will be different than the oldest, because the oldest is just around the corner,
Yeah.
whereas he has to drive 4 to 5 hours to get here. So I think his perspective is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. I hear you on that. I mean, they don't get it. And that kind of stuff, the learning when, as you're getting older, it makes much more sense to just put that kind of stuff back in schools. It really does. And, because that's just the way I feel. The way I learned back then in through college and all that, it's I learned a lot, versus now if somebody handed me something and I know I didn't earn it, I just be like, you know, I don't think I'd feel the same. And adulting, it does suck. Hell, I'm 44 and it's just like I already know. That's the one thing I do know. So, are there like any charities or any like community events that you do with your school?
So I do quite a bit with the school. Like currently, right now, I'm doing the Great Cycle Challenge. Um, Actually, I believe my picture was up on the billboard in Times Square when they were running the campaign of all the riders that are riding for the month of September. So it's to raise funds for the Children's Cancer Research Fund,
Oh,
and it's to help kids fight cancer. So this is my 5th year doing it. So I ride 100 miles in the month. So I do like maybe 5 20-mile rides because that's all I can do. Some of these guys are doing 500,000 miles, and it's like, how are you guys riding 80 miles in one day? Good night. Um, but it is what it is. I also did the Mission 22, the 48-mile ruck. That was last year. I did that. I didn't do it this year because my knee was aching. Uh, my knee was, harping at me.
yeah,
Um, last Friday, I did the 9/11 challenge, and that was through a friend of mine's gym called Bona Fitness here in Katy, and I did 145 flights. I think we were only supposed to do 110, so got a little overzealous. And I never used a stairmaster before, so I was like, okay, hey, where am I going? Next thing I know, oh, 145. Okay, cool. I think I'm done. But yeah, I do a lot of things throughout the community. The Susan G. Komen. There's a couple times I've raised money through seminars for the Susan Komen Cancer Research Fund.
yeah,
Um, let's see, what else have I done? A couple months ago, I did a kids seminar. No, not a kids seminar, a gun defense seminar for former Houston Texans player Amobi Okoye. um, we raised like $200 for his foundation, and he came out. I handed the check to him and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. So we do things throughout the community. I'm always looking to do different types of events and stuff like that. Um, I also just completed the St. Jude's 50 push-ups every day for the month of July. What's August, for the month of August. So that was 1,550 push-ups.
I love St. Jude's. I have my favorite charities. St. Jude is definitely one, and then the other would have to be the Wounded Warrior Projects.
Mhm.
Anything military related. Everybody already knows I'm game. But I mean, St. Jude, that's a hell of a place. Just like Shriners also for the burn victims, and
Yeah.
that's another good one. But those are just where they go and they help these families and they don't have to worry about nothing, and they're so good in that hospital to where a lot of them do get cured. You know, they're on their game at St. Jude, and I try to give to that one, every year. and I just have, specific charities. And then you've got some charities, they're probably more out there that I have not heard of. I'm making my rounds, trying, figure it out. But I love St. Jude's. They definitely have a good cause. Definitely.
Yeah, and Team Red, White, and Blue. I'm part of them. That was part of the 9/11 Stair Challenge was one of the challenges that Team RWB had. Uh, what else did I do with them? I did some other couple other challenges with Team RWB. That's another great organization that likes to do fundraisers and stuff like that. Different types of workout challenges and stuff like that. Um, and it's to help the veterans and stuff like that, people who served our country, and support them. Mission 22, same thing. I'm also looking to do stuff with the We Defy Foundation. There's a couple of jujitsu schools here in the Houston area that are part of that, and I'm going to try to reach out to them. I know one of the guys. I think he's the head of it here in Sugarland, so I'll reach out to him and see what else I could do to, help out our veterans and stuff like that. And help them out.
Hell yeah. Awesome. So before we close out this lovely interview, you can tell everybody what your website is, even though on Lore's website, we will be putting up another link for him, and we'll put that up when we actually put up the interview. We'll make sure we got that. What is your website for anybody in the Houston or further out areas that want training?
I can travel. I can travel. You just, pay the, hotel airfare. That's all I ask. And then,
Won't hit you with bricks.
what are the bricks you were saying?
I said he won't hit you with the bricks.
Oh, okay. So the website is www.dragonsdensda, that's Sierra Delta Alpha at the end.com.
All
And
right.
then you can follow me on Instagram at Dragons Den SDA. Same thing on TikTok at Dragons Den SDA.
That's awesome. Well, we are definitely going to thank you for coming on the show for sure.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, I try to keep it fun. I try to keep it real because that's just the way I like it. I prefer real people, not people who are like, you know what I mean?
I get you.
A real person, damn it. All right. We're going to wrap this up. This is Daphne from Lore saying thank you, Mr. Mark Dong, for being on. And we will see you next time. Bye.
All right. Thank y'all.